at least talked about mentality. What do you want the mentality being going into this weekend? Do you want to be any different than the last couple of weeks? You want it to be exactly the same?
I'd want it to be exactly the same. I think our mentality shouldn't change because of the opponent, the different opponent. I think our mentality should stay the same regardless.
We talked about the start fast, stay fast, finish fast. You guys suffer the loss at the start of the weekend, but what does it mean for you guys to finish fast and finish with 5 straight wins?
I think it shows us and how we respond to maybe not getting exactly what we want. And then do we stew on that, or do we get up and just continue to move forward and learn from it and keep what we've been doing going? And I liked the response to that loss and then how they went about the rest of the weekend.
Speed has been a hallmark of your program, and it continues to be. But these freshmen are hitting, is it complicate things for you, the coaches in the dugout, and how you're calling a game? I'm sure it's a fun luxury to have that power, but just how different, if at all, does it affect just the way you're calling things offensively?
For the most part, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. What's nice is just getting. There was one inning where I almost felt like a slow pitch game, where you get your runners on and then you only get a couple home runs and you take one big swing. Like, you could see that happen this weekend. So if we can continue to get our front and our bottom of our lineup on and then have that middle drive them in, that would be great.
You're not going to put the reins on Kai or anything like that.
No.
Yeah, just because of the power behind her.
Yeah, no, I think for each one of them, they know what they need to do, and just to continue to have quality at bats and then see where that takes us and then move into the next at bat.
How big is it to have players like Ayanna do what she did in the GCU game at the bottom of the lineup, getting on and then sparking a rally there?
I think it's really big. I think everybody in our lineup and even athletes coming off the bench are going to be pivotal, and at different points in the game or the weekend be called up to the standard to do something for us. So to get her to start that inning and then pass the bat, that she was the one that made it happen.
The start that you guys have had through these first 2 weeks, did it feel like it met your expectations, or did in some ways you guys exceed that?
I think what was nice is just what we've been talking about as a group and what we want to do, and then to see that come to fruition, I think is important, just because they believe in it and they know how they want to go about it. So to see that happen and then talk about learning from that and then what we want to happen next, I think was really good confidence for us. I think shows our team, what we're capable of doing.
The way you talked about your team coming into the season and individual skills players would bring, it seems like almost every one of them is contributing kind of what you wanted, what you hoped for them. What were the keys to setting the stage for that and getting that out of everybody early? But then what are going to be the keys to sustaining that too as the season goes on, as competition picks up, the book changes on how opponents attack you?
I think for them to continue to get after their work, with the practices that in between, and then when they get in the games, to go for it. And you could see in the first weekend, Paige was hot, Kedri was hot, and then you could see in the second weekend, it changed to another athlete. Steph was hot. So if you have a lineup where you don't have to constantly count on a couple people, that's what is exciting to me, is that whether you're in the lineup or you're coming off the bench and you have opportunity to get it started or drive in, the winning run, or come in relief and shut out the game, we need everybody.
It's commonly said, Missy, across college sports specifically, that freshmen sometimes don't know what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They're all highly recruited. They all play club ball at a high level, so it's not like the level of competition is completely foreign to them. But going to an event like this and taking the step up, do you feel like this group, this freshman core in particular, do they not know what they don't know in terms of what's about to be coming this weekend? Or do you feel like they are, because of their backgrounds, that they are just in a better place for the step up in competition, particularly in the circle that's going to be this week?
Yeah, I think for them, they've all been coming to the tournament, just hearing from Riley talking. So they know what it looks like on the outside. Obviously, for them, the first time to be able to see it for what it looks like on the inside. It's a bigger venue. But to me, I think the most important thing that they can do is just keep it simple. That's what I appreciate about this freshman group, is they've done a really good job of keeping it simple. And I think they need to do the same thing going into Mary Nutter.
And how about where that looks like, even the game within the game, the chess match of the end game adjustments from at bat to at bat? Because, again, you understand at this caliber, one at bat to the second to the third, and how each side kind of counters each other. Where are they in that process of adapting and learning at this level at that caliber competition?
I think they all have really good softball IQ, and I think that just attributes to the teams that these guys have all come from. But they're very eager to learn and understand how to adjust from at bat to at bat. To me, that's the biggest thing you can do is the in-game adjustment. And do your emotions get in the way of the in-game adjustment? Are you able to just stay matter of fact, factual, and be extreme with an adjustment? I think when we started off with GCU, we were making adjustments, but they weren't extreme. And then right in the middle of it, as a group, we're like, we need to make an extreme adjustment. And then you saw that happen. So I was impressed. That was impressive to me.
It's a group with a ton of personality. They seem like they're having fun all the time. Is that continuing to show even in big moments, pressure moments, big games, whatever?
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think it's important to show, you're not going to have success in every single thing you do during the game. So how can you give everything you've got and then from there go back and be ready to get after it again? And when you're not there to support the athletes that are there. And I think they do a good job of that. I think their mindset, they work hard on their mindset. They work really hard athletically and in their skill set, but they put a lot of time into having a postseason mentality and understanding how to do that. So I just think all these opportunities for them have been great opportunities, and just what they've learned just in the first 2 weeks, it's going to go a long way for them.
How would you assess what Taylor Spencer gave you this weekend, making her debut but working back from an injury?
I was very proud. I was very impressed during her trying to return to play. The stuff that she was doing was, to me, next level. So I think when she was able to get on the field, it allowed her to just settle in quickly because of how she went about returning, which I thought was very beneficial.
Is there any update on why Stacy didn't pitch at all this weekend? You said going into that everyone was going to be healthy and stuff.
Yeah, no, and that actually was what I expected. So she is progressing. So I'm hoping for her to continue to progress into this weekend. But last week when I said that to you, that's what I knew at that time. So sorry.
Was it important to you to have a couple of rematches with former Pac-12 teams this weekend, Missy? Because just in general, I realized geographically these aren't home and homes and stuff that's happening in neutral site, but was that something you were prioritizing in getting the schedule together for Mary Nutter?
I think about the Pac, and I just think about the battles that we have all had against each other, and they're unbelievable battles. So to have the opportunity to continue that and to play great softball against opponents like Cal and Utah, that's something that we were very excited to do.
Yeah, I was curious because, the Cal series over the years, Chelsea certainly got after it pretty good here. There are quite a few, both here and Berkeley and Utah. It's like that staff is a lot of people who've been here, and certainly with Caitlin now. So I just didn't know if those connections were a part of it and you just wanted to sustain it, or what it was necessarily motivation behind it.
I think just still having the opportunity now that we're in the Big Ten to still play Pac-12, I think is important to all of us. And I think you'll see us all continue to do that each year.
Before the season, you were talking about, with so much youth on the team, possibly flying under the radar with the way you guys played in the first 2 weeks. That probably won't be the case anymore. Do you feel like there's sort of a need of a refresher with this team about okay, everyone knows now what we are capable of. Let's go in here and be able to do this again, or, just a refresher about the importance of, staying in the moment and the competition rising at this point?
We've been harping all year about just really getting caught up in who we are and our process, and not allowing outside things to dictate that. And I think it's just the same thing. Obviously, we understand the schedule that we're going to play, but just continue to stick with our process. I just keeping it simple. I think that's the most important thing that we can do. I think this group's done a really good job in the past 2 weeks, and just keep it that simple and sticking to our process. For them to want to be great, it shouldn't matter who we play. It matters about how they step up and are called to the standard on a daily basis and also in games. So I think if they stick to that, it'll put them in a great position to have success this weekend.
Does that excite you to hopefully see that against a step up in competition this weekend?
Definitely. You just look at the season, and just every weekend is going to get tougher and tougher. So I think they've built a strong foundation. And again, just to continue to just one pitch, one inning at a time. Don't get ahead of ourselves. Just continue to compete and trust that what they have is good enough.
How have you seen that hot start to the bat help you guys from a pitching standpoint, being able to, sort of pitch free and take it off because of the offense putting up so many runs?
It's great. I think any pitcher will tell you that you get, a couple of runs in the first inning. It just allows you to just settle in and do your thing. So the run support that our offense has given our pitching staff has been great. And then also just to see them feed off each other. I think that's when we're at our very best, is to come out and get a couple runs, and then our staff go out and get a shutdown inning or get the leadoff hitter out, and then just work on sending that positive energy back and forth.
Do you want to see them, because you can't simulate the game-like situations perfectly, do you want to see a little bit, though, from a pitching standpoint, of tighter situations like they're going to probably come this weekend, of tight game, one run game, one way or the other, in those more critical spots that, like you say, you can't totally simulate?
Yeah, no, I just think that just comes with the schedule that we play and getting those opportunities.
How have you seen the chemistry come together on defense as this group has gotten used to each other?
You could tell their connection because of just how loud they are and how much they communicate. Their celebration, you could see them looking ahead for possible opportunities and how to maybe get out of jams on defense or to roll something up. So I think their communication is really key.
What are some of the areas you want to see the team improve in coming up in this next week?
I think to continue to strike early, to be able to make extreme adjustments quicker for our pitching staff to not give free passes, to allow their defense to work behind them. And I just think, like, when there's opportunity to strike, that first time, strike.